We're going to continue editing the coffee scene, but before we do, I wanted to introduce a very important key concept in editing, and that's called compressing time. And compressing time is something you see in every single film, because keep in mind a film lasts maybe 2 hours if it's a long film, and really it might happen over days, weeks, and months. Or it may happen just within a day, but still it's only 2 hours long. So how do they do that? They compress the time. What they do is they shorten the time it takes to do things, and they do it in the editing process. And that's what we're going to be doing in this video. It should be transparent to the viewer, so you probably haven't even noticed yet that we've been doing it through our editing. We've only done a few clips so far, but we have done a little compressing time. Okay, so what is compressing time? It's basically shortening things down so you're only including the important visuals of the story. So we get rid of all the other stuff. So imagine you're walking to school and you meet up with friends and then you go to school. That might take 15 minutes. Nobody's going to want to watch you walk to school for 15 minutes. So what we would do is show you leave the house perhaps, meet up with your friends along the route, have a short little discussion perhaps, and then we'd see you arrive at the school. That might take, instead of 15 minutes, it might take 30 seconds. We've really compressed the time, and what's the point is to make the story more visually interesting and shorter for the viewer. And again, your viewer will accept the fact that I didn't have to see you walk the entire 15 minutes to get to school. I accepted the fact you left, you met your friends, and you arrived. And our brain has been conditioned to understand that. It's just like when we shoot shot sizes. If I shoot a medium shot of somebody at the waist, I know they still have a body below. My brain has been trained to understand visually, oh, there's more person there, but I don't think about it. I accept what I'm seeing. It's the same thing for compressing time. So let's look at the example here. I've sort of cut up the coffee sequence video. What I've done is I've taken the edited version here, and what you're going to see is how long it takes to get from taking off the water tank and then getting to the sink. How long should it take? 8 to 10 seconds maybe. How long does it take? Let's play the original. I'm going to take it back just a bit where he takes the water tank off. Okay, so he takes the water tank off and he arrives at the sink in literally a second. We've probably cut 8 seconds out of his journey from the coffee machine to the sink. We don't need to see him walk to the sink. We've compressed time. We've shortened the video, and I would argue we've also made it more interesting for the viewer. We've made it watchable. I don't want to watch Mr. Elsey walking to the sink. Not interesting, not part of the story. And I did it through editing and shooting. So first we shot it so that we've transitioned to the sink. There it is. And then he walks into the frame, and then he pours the water, and he's done pouring water, and he leaves. That whole little sequence of him arriving to the sink, pouring the water, and leaving is 11 seconds. That's it, 11 seconds. Now, let me show you what it would look like if we went down. I'm going to just ignore these two top tracks for a minute. That's another example. So here's an example here. Here's the visual. So again, he's arriving. I've taken just that portion of the clip, I've trimmed it off, and I've put it in my timeline. Okay, so again, he's at the sink. How long does that whole sink segment take? Well, I'm at the start of the timeline. Watch your time code up here, frames. Let him fill the tank, and he leaves. So it takes about 11 and a half seconds. Okay? Now, if I were to play that entire sequence in one shot, the wider shot, the medium shot of Elsey, and not do any editing at all, it's going to take longer. You can see it here in the timeline. This is the edited version, and this is the actual one shot, one medium shot of Elsey doing the whole process and leaving. And you can see, looking at the timeline, that the edited version here is shorter than the one-shot deal. Okay, now, It may not look like a big difference, but you're going to see two things. Number one, it's shorter, more interesting likely. I don't need to see the whole tank filled with water. Second, I've used 2 or 3 shots to tell that little mini story to make it more visually interesting for our viewer. So I'm going to play first the whole shot, just like you see it here, of Mr. Elsey coming into the shot, filling the tank. We're going to watch it all the way through, and then he leaves. Let me take it right back here. Get my play bar right back to the start. Okay, so I guess I don't have the shot of when he enters the frame. No, that's the start of the clip. So that's fine. So it would even be slightly longer. He would walk into the frame and then turn on the tap, fill the tank entirely, or half, whatever we decide, turns off the tap, puts on the lid, and leaves. Okay, so that's about 12.5 seconds. So it's longer. Not only is it about a second longer, which isn't a huge deal in compressing time, a second, but also it's kind of boring. So again, I'm going to play it, and you're going to see that it's just one shot. Okay, imagine Mr. Elsey walks into frame. We don't have that because we didn't shoot it like that. Okay, look, one shot, turns on the tap. Watch it fill, boring, 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 boring. Turns it off, caps it up, and leaves. Okay, so it's only about a second we trimmed off, but let me turn off the raw footage and go to the edited version. This is the edited version, which is a second shorter, so we've compressed a bit of time, but also we've done it through adding different visuals. So this time we're starting on a shot of the sink, just to give us a visual transition from the coffee maker to the sink. And Mr. Elsey walks into the shot. We see a close-up, extreme close-up of him turning on the tap. He shuts it off, puts on the lid, and leaves. It's visually more interesting, and also we don't have to sit there and watch the water tank fill. See, we've compressed time. It's already sort of filled sooner. Okay, so we've cut off about a second of the visuals there. And we've done it by cutting to a second shot, which is an extreme close-up of the water right there filling. So you need to use different shots in order to compress the time so we don't get what are jump cuts. Okay, so that's compressing time, shortening the scene, or even just a sequence in the scene, just 2 or 3 shots maybe, to shorten those shots and also make it more visually interesting. Let me look at another example here for you. Okay, so up here on these other 2 tracks, you're going to come across a portion of the video where Mr. Elsey leaves the coffee. I'm going to coffee machine, and then walks to get the cream, and then walks to get the sugar, and then he puts the cream and sugar actually in the coffee. Okay, so let me show you what that looks like down here. Okay, let me go just a little further down. There we go. Okay, so in the edited version of this video, okay, so Elsey's just turned on the coffee. It's starting to make it now, the coffee. Now you're going to see him leave the coffee machine, go get his cream and go get his sugar, and then he comes back. How long would that take in real time? 20 seconds probably, at least. 20 to 30 seconds to walk across the room, go to the fridge, leave the fridge area, go to get the sugar. From the sugar area, he's got to walk back to the coffee machine. So let's see. Oh, there. He left the coffee machine and he's there immediately almost. He's almost at the fridge immediately. We've compressed time. We've taken out the time it takes him to walk over there. This is what we care about, getting the cream. Closes the fridge. Oh, he leaves the fridge. Look at that. Right? He leaves the fridge and suddenly we're at the sugar. We don't need to see him walk from the fridge to the sugar. Boring. Right? So then he gets the sugar, picks it up, leaves, and look, suddenly he's right there making coffee. The cream and the sugar are in the background there. So that takes merely seconds for that to happen. Okay, so turns it on, makes the coffee. Suddenly he's at the fridge, gets what he needs. That's all I need to see. He leaves. I see him come to the sugar. He gets it. He leaves. And that took 5 to 8 seconds. It would have taken 20 to 30 seconds in real time. So we've compressed the time. We've only shown what's important. And that's what you're going to need to do in your videos, is to compress time to show me what's important in the scene. Okay, compressing time is shortening, but also adding visual interest. It's how you edit that actually achieves that goal to make your video watchable. Okay, let me go over here now. And I'm just going to turn this on. So here's the actual isolated scene of Mr. Elsey getting the cream and getting the sugar. How long does it take? I'm at virtually 0, 0, 0. I'm at 0 seconds. Only 3 frames in. I could move my play bar a little bit. There. I'm starting at the very start of the project. I'm going to watch just those 2 shots. Elsey getting cream and Elsey getting sugar. How long does it take? It took him 4.5 seconds to get the cream. And another 3 or 4 seconds. So the total length of those 2 shots is just over 8 seconds. 8 seconds, 1 frame. Okay, so I'll play it again and I'll just play it in real time. It takes him 8 seconds to get the cream, get the sugar, and leave. Watch. Okay, so we've compressed the time with when we shot the scene. We compressed the time knowing I don't need to see Mr. Elsey walking from the coffee machine over to the fridge. Boring. We don't need to see it. We as the audience accept the fact he got there. We believe he got there. It's believable. Then I don't have to see him walk from the fridge over to the sugar. I know he got there. I see his hand come into the frame. And I see him pick up the sugar and leave. So I've accepted the fact he's gone from the fridge to get the sugar and left. Now, let me watch the raw clips that we shot. Again, we didn't even shoot him walking over to the fridge because we knew we'd never use it. It's just boring. So here's the raw clip. Now, I want you to take note here. In the edited version I just showed you, they didn't use Mr. Elsey walking into the frame. We don't see him at the start here, right? I'd prefer maybe we see him walk into the frame. Just like we had his hand come into the frame on the first part of the video. Okay, so let's see him walk into the frame rather than just appear in the frame. So I'll show you the difference. So here we are, blank. This is just a raw clip. Right there, he walks into the frame and gets the cream. Okay, the edited video, this one up here, picks up the shot. The editor decided, whoever edited this, that they're going to start the shot with him already in the frame. It's not wrong, but maybe it's more effective if we have him actually enter the frame. Enter the frame. Kind of a junky room, eh? Remember this? Room 114. Oh my God, we want to go back. So he's going to enter the frame. And there's my coffee cup. Let's see Mr. Elsey enter the frame and get the cream. Edit point now. Gets the cream. That's all I care about. He leaves the shot out. That's it. So I'm trimming off this. S to split. I'm getting rid of this. I don't need it. S to split. Get rid of that. Okay, let's go to the start. Oh, he's not there. He's not there. He's not there. He's not there. He's not. Oh, there he is. I'm going to use my arrow keys. Go back, 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 back. My left arrow key. And I'm going to give it a few extra frames. Okay. I'm going to trim this off. S to split. Select it. Delete it. Okay. So I've now changed the scenes, the shot. I've even shortened this shot now, so I just see Elsey come into the frame, get the cream, and leave the frame. I'm going to be looking for this in your edited videos. Compressing time and then the other aspect of entering the frame, leaving the frame are good edit points. Watch. Enters. Gets the cream. That's what I care about. Leaves. Shot's over. Okay? And then how you decide to extend when he leaves the shot or enters the shot, how much few little extra frames you give me so it's not feeling too rushed. That's what editing is, precision editing. Okay, so you got to not just put shots right tight up to each other so that it feels too rushed. For example, let me show you. If I take Elsie here, he comes in. I'm going to take it just back so just his foot is just about to come in. I'm going to split this clip now a little tighter. I'm taking some of those frames off the beginning. Okay, and it's going to feel, if I edit it together, there he's coming in. It's feeling a little rushed. And then as soon as he leaves the frame, I'm going to pause it. There. Okay, and I'm going to trim that off. S to split. Select the part I don't want. I've now shortened this. Okay, I'm going to show you how it plays with the sugar in a second. Here's the sugar scene. Shot, rather. The shot where he gets the sugar. So again, what happens? His hand comes into the frame. See that? The frame starts clean first. Nobody's in the shot. And we use that as an edit point as his hand comes in. I'll be looking for that. Using people either entering the frame by walking or their hands are coming in and out of frame. It's coming in. Okay, so I'm going to take it back to here. Give it a little bit of pad. I'm going to hit S to split. I'm going to get rid of the part where nothing's happening, and his hand will enter the frame when I hit play. There you go. Takes the sugar, and I'm going to pause it and stop it there. I'm going to give it a little bit of natural time after he leaves. Maybe a bit more. I'm going to hit S to split that, and I'm going to get rid of the end, because all the end is just an empty coffee cup. I don't care about it. All right? So let's look at how the sugar part looks. Hand enters, takes the sugar, leaves, and we've got a little bit of pad on the end where you see the cup. Okay, now I'm going to put those two together. I'm going to show you what they look like when I play just those two clips. Does it feel somewhat natural? Okay, so what I would suggest is let's drag out. Remember, it's non-destructive editing, right? I'm going to drag out and give you a little bit more of Elsie after he leaves the fridge. So there, I'm going to use that. I'm going to drag that over. And I'm going to give you a little bit more now of Elsie before he gets to the fridge. I'm going to show you the difference. He walks in. Okay, so we clearly see him walk in. It doesn't feel rushed. I'll give you a few more frames before he walks in. Walks in. Nice pace, right? See him enter, gets the cream. He leaves the frame. We have a few extra frames, and then he's going to arrive and get the sugar. So let's see if it feels natural when we play these two back together. It doesn't feel rushed. The pace of the video isn't like a manic pace of, let's get the cream, let's get the sugar. A little bit of natural pacing. Walks in, kind of natural. Gets the cream. Leaves the scene. Got a little pause there so it's not feeling rushed, and he leaves. Okay? Now let's get rid of all the frames just before he enters the frame. So that felt to me pretty natural. Okay, so you can see his foot there. I'm going to just trim this here now, this clip. Split it. Get rid of the beginning. I'm just going to show you the difference, how this affects the pacing of the video if I cut it too tight. Get that foot out of the frame, and I'm going to cut it right away. The hand out of the frame, bam. Split that. I'm getting rid of those frames. That sort of relax. It's almost like negative space in the design. It gives my eyes, me as the audience, a chance to adjust to what's happening next. Okay, I'm going to go to the sugar scene. His hand's not in yet. Look at all the frames I have here before his hand comes in. And I'm going to pick it up right as his hand comes in. Right there. Okay, split that clip. Get rid of the visuals at the start, and I'm going to take the sugar out of the frame, and I'm going to cut immediately. So I'm rushing this scene, right? That's the point I'm trying to make, is don't rush it when you edit on action or edit when someone comes in and out of frame, when we're compressing time. It doesn't mean you're rushing the scene. It means you're cutting out the unnecessary stuff, and you're shortening the scene naturally by doing so, by using different angles. So let's watch it now and tell me, do you think it feels a little bit rushed? Okay, He walks in right away. That one's a little harder to tell. Gets the cream, gone. Oh, see how that feels rushed? And suddenly he's right at the sugar. Okay, I've compressed time, but I've compressed it too much. It's unnatural that he'd be there that fast. Cream, sugar. He's there right away. Okay, so I don't really particularly like the flow of that video right there. It's just not natural. And compressing time should be transparent and natural to the viewer. So that's your objective when you edit the rest of this. I'm going to do another tutorial on editing on action, which is the part that's really going to help you hide your edits and make this whole scene flow beautifully. But this is a concept of compressing time. Again, I'm going to play it one more time. Watch how it's a little uncomfortable. He gets the cream. And you see how he's at the sugar right away? And all we need to do to fix that is give us a few more frames at the beginning, maybe a few more frames at the end when he's, again, non-destructive editing. I'm going to give a few more frames at the end of when he leaves the fridge, and let's see if it feels a little more natural. Move my play bar. My magnet is on, meaning snap, so this clip should snap to that clip. Now something's not quite right, so I'm just going to move that one, see if it'll work. There we go, for this purpose. Okay, so I'm going to play it again. Again, it's just the time it takes from getting the cream to the sugar that we care about. Does it feel more natural now that I haven't made him suddenly at the sugar? Still too rushed in my view. I'm going to give this a little, excuse me, a little more frames before his hand comes in, and I'm going to give it a few more frames where he leaves the frame after getting the cream. Now let's watch it again. So this is what editing is, fine-tuning. Still a bit rushed after he leaves the fridge, so I'm going to extend the fridge shot a little bit more, and maybe I'll even extend the cream a little bit more. Just a few frames, right? That's all I'm dragging out is a few frames. Again, it's not snapping. I'm sensing maybe the play bar. So I'm just going to adjust this. Shot cuts can be a little finicky, but for a free editor, it's pretty awesome. I'm going to play it one more time. I've extended him leaving the fridge, and I have extended him arriving at the sugar to get a more natural flow to this little mini scene. All it is 2 shots. Let's see if it feels natural now. Yeah, I like it. I think it's more natural. It gives a sense that he's left one place, takes maybe 6 seconds to get there. I've given it maybe half a second to get there, but it still doesn't feel rushed. It feels natural in me as the viewer. It's transparent to me, and I believe it. That's the point of compressing time. Shortening the video, number 1, so it's watchable for your viewer. Number 2, picking the important parts of clips that you really need to show. And then the third magic part of editing is spacing things out using frames or no frames so it feels like a natural flow. And that's what you'll see in the rubric. So when I talk about flow, does the video seem rushed because you've compressed too much time, or is it too long? And it's like, oh my God, you could have cut that shot way shorter because I'm just sitting here watching this water tank fill with water for 20 seconds, whatever the shot is. That's compressing time. I hope that makes the point. I have a video for you on the website, which you can watch, done by Drew Keller. It's excellent. It's another example, an extended version of what I've just done. Watch it, enjoy it, and it makes the point very well. You only have to watch up until the breakfast making scene on that.